I am Adolph Sutro, your mayor, and I want to welcome you to San Francisco and welcome the world to San Francisco. You are all invited to Sutro Heights, where I live, where you'll be welcomed by my staff and see the luxurious and beautifully manicured public gardens tended by my staff of 17 gardeners. We have just opened the Sutro Baths, where we have 7 ponds, 6 of them saltwater, in a marvelously engineered mechanism on the coast of California. In the 1860s, there was a strike of silver in the Comstock lode of Nevada. Many of the miners would bore down into the mine shafts where it was hot, and boiling water would pour in and fumes would accumulate. They could only stay there for some time, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, before the elements overcame them. It was my vision and my idea to bore a tunnel that connected all the shafts and ventilated them and took all the hot water out. Now, it took me some years, trips to Congress and many stock offerings and things to raise the money, but we finally founded the town of Sutro in Nevada and built the tunnel. Of course, I was wise and sold out in about 1880, right before the Comstock lode gave out. I used the money that I made from the Sutro Tower to invest in real estate. At one point, I owned about 11% of San Francisco. What I bought was mostly in the west end of San Francisco, large tracts of land on which we built the baths and have built forests. We're donating some of it to found a medical center on Mount Parnassus. After I invested in the real estate, the market took off. I'm Mayor Sutro in San Francisco, and come and see me at my mansion in Sutro Heights.
My name is Anna Bishop. I'm a dramatic soprano, world-renowned. I was born in London in 1810. I rose to fame in London. I married a very well-known composer, Henry Bishop, and I abandoned him some 10 years later and our 3 children to run away with a French harpist and travel the world. In 1866, I took ship for China. My ship was shipwrecked in the Pacific, and I survived for 3 weeks with 12 other people in a boat. We finally made land on the Philippines, where I recovered and continued my world tour. By the time I got back to England the second time, my husband, Henry Bishop, had passed away. In the meantime, he had also been knighted by Queen Victoria, and I was asked to give a command performance for Her Majesty. Eventually, I settled down in Scotland with my current husband, and that's where we live today.
Isaiah Wrigley Lees. Nowadays, you could call me Captain Lees, captain of the Police Detective Unit. I arrived in San Francisco, like a great many others, in the year of the Great Gold Rush in 1848. And I did go to the gold fields, but found that it was not quite to my liking, nor as profitable as I had hoped. So thereupon, I found myself employed in a variety of other things in San Francisco. A tugboat owner for a brief time, a member of the Volunteer Fire Brigade. But I soon found that I had a unique ability at crime fighting and solving. I became a member then of the newly formed San Francisco Police Force. And of course, in those days, San Francisco was a very unruly place. Sometimes the police had no power to control the crime that was rampant in this town. But eventually, the police force was able to tame this wild western city, and we then formed a detective unit. And here I found myself quite at home, not just regular police work, but detective work. We had to provide oftentimes our own clothing, our own weapons, our own firearms. However, one of the things that I did find to be the most useful, a mug shot. Once we have a criminal in custody, we used to just let them go. We had no record of what they looked like, and so if we apprehended them again, we did not know actually we had the same person. So I, out of my own pocket, paid to have professional photographers, a new science at the time, to be able to take images of these criminals so that we could keep them then as a permanent record. I've been able to use that many times in the solving of important crimes. It's been my great pleasure to be a member of this force in the city, which I have seen essentially grow up before my eyes from a ramshackle village to a great metropolis.
My love for firefighters began when I was about 13, and I saw the Knickerbocker No. 5 Volunteer Fire Department struggling up a hill. They were not able to get up the hill with the horses that they had, and I was inspired to cheer them on and to gather onlookers, and I started pushing the carriage with them along with the bystanders, and we all got that up the hill, and they got to the fire in time, because of course it's very important to be the first ones there, because the first ones there to put out the fire were the ones that actually got paid for the job. This was in the days before professional firefighters. I have always been a supporter of the firefighters ever since that incident when I was 13. I support the firefighters by visiting them in the hospital if they're injured. I take care of their widows and children if they happen to be killed in the line of duty. And I always attend any fires I can. If I hear the fire engines running down the street, I'll run out in whatever I'm wearing. At one time I was even in a bridesmaid's outfit fitting the day before the wedding, and I ran out to a fire, and I got into quite a mess then, but the dressmakers were able to fix the dress for the wedding the next day. I've been all over the world. I spent several years in Europe, but I always come back to San Francisco, my favorite city in the whole world. Now, I'm actually have quite a bit of money from my father, and I plan, when I die, because I have no children of my own, to leave quite a bit of money to the city. And my hope is that the city will build a monument to itself. I hope the city will love it and appreciate it and take care of it forever and remember me when they do it.
Good morning, San Franciscans. I am Levi Strauss, and I am here today to demonstrate my Levi's jeans. Now, these are the strongest, roughest jeans that you ever want to see. No matter how hard you pull, even with the strongest draft horses, these will withstand the strength. As you can see, they are made with rivets in their pockets of a heavy denim, double-lined on the inside, so that they will withstand a lot of wear. So I encourage you all to get a pair of Levi's jeans, and not any cheap imitation, but the authentic ones, the ones made by myself, Levi Strauss & Co. Thank you.
I come from Sacramento, and I heard about the streets of San Francisco and all the gold that they had up there. It was luxurious gold, easy pickings. Well, I decided I'd come up here to San Francisco and just take my claim right there. Well, I did that. I came up here to San Francisco to stake my claim. I'm glad I did that because I got a chance to see the Mercantile, get myself outfitted, and get a new mule, number 7. She's a lucky mule, Sarah Bell. Well, let me tell you a little bit about what you need as a miner. First off, you need a pickaxe. Trusty pickaxe will get you every time through that rock, right when you need it. You got to have a shovel. Well, I carry a shovel right there. It's up and out of the way, so I don't get caught in the trees when I'm walking around. And, well, you got to have a lantern. Well, you see, I've got my trusty lantern right back there. And a compass, of course, so I don't get lost. Well, let's see. Bedroll for sleeping. You got to have a bedroll. It gets cold up there in them there nights in San Francisco. Got that right there in the back. And you got to have a trusty canteen, too. Gonna get thirsty and parched out there. You got to have a good knife. You got to whittle yourself a nice flute for the evening to play, and maybe even have to take care of a bear or two. Well, if you do, you got trusty number 6 right here, nice 60 Colt. That'll take care of just about anything. Keep them right off your claim. You know, it's a lot of hard work being a miner. You got to work from sun up to sun down. There's nobody there to relieve you. So you got to watch your back when you're down in the creek trying to do some panning. Got my trusty pan right here too, right here on the back. I got just about everything I need on my back. My mule carries the rest of all my heavy equipment. And that's why I take her down with me and take good care of my mule. She's like a tool herself. Treat them well, and they'll treat you well. And that's right, folks. So you just keep working hard and take it from me, Pyrite Pete. You're going to be a miner someday too. Work hard.
My name is Lydia Thompson. I'm from London, where I began acting at a ripe young age, dancing at my mother and father's music hall. After that, I went on to tour Europe and eventually came over to New York, where my husband and I bought 2 theaters. Then we went to Chicago and purchased more theaters, and that is where we encountered that nasty editor who wrote such horrid things about me, such as I was ruining the morality of the younger generation, and so I simply had to horsewhip him in the street. I had some help, after all, from my good friend Pauline Markham and my husband. And so here I am in San Francisco with all you wonderful people, portraying my various characters to you and looking for a theater to purchase. And I'm about to go on tour throughout California, and then we'll see what happens. I think I'll go visit that scandalous place called Australia across the water. Well, you know, they say that I am the mother of burlesque, but when they say burlesque, that is my people who aren't my fans, they think of that scandalous bearing of flesh that it's come to be known as. But really, burlesque just means making a satire of something. And so I'm very good at doing that, you know. And so I suppose, in a way, I am the mother of burlesque. And if I show a little ankle now and again, there really isn't any harm in that, is there?
Right. I'm James Kelly, familiarly known to my enemies as Shanghai Kelly, but that's really a lie. I'm a great fellow to know, have a lovely tavern and rooming house at several different places here in San Francisco, one down along Pacific Avenue, right along the waterside. That's very convenient to the poor sailors that do come ashore. I mean, there's this terrible problem where the lads come ashore, they squander all their money, and then there's no ship to take them, there's no place for them to stay, there's no one will offer them any money. So the San Francisco Seamen's Landlords Benevolent Association, which I happen to be the chair, takes care of these poor lads, advances them the money, makes sure they've got food and shelter, and then when the ships come in, we help place them, and we take a modest fee for that service. So it all works out well for all concerned. So came to San Francisco many years ago, and shortly before the gold rush, and became well known amongst the sailors, well known amongst merchants, and basically just sort of worked my way up, helping sailors, helping landlords, doing some organizing work, taking the occasional cruise. I'm a well-known man about town with several taverns to my name. I regard myself as a wonderful fellow and a friend to all men, particularly seamen who have come ashore and don't have a particular ship now, and they've got no way to take care of themselves. So I'm James Kelly, and here's a toast to all those bold, brave boys that sail the seas and man our ships. Here's to you, boys.
My name is Corky O'Paddy, and Corky is County Cork in Ireland, and Corky is the Irish word for Cork. I came from Ireland, from Bunrathy Harbour, which is in Cork, on the west coast of Ireland, on a ship called the Galway Rose, from Galway. And we came over to America, to New York and Boston and Philadelphia, and we dropped off people there, and we picked up a bunch of other people. And we sailed around Cape Horn, which is called going around the corner in sailing terms, and we sailed up the Pacific side through Valparaiso and Callao Bay up into the coastline of California, all the way here to San Francisco, where many of the lads got off the boat and went up into the gold fields. I found a job as a maritime recruitment specialist for a Mr. James Kelly, who was also from County Cork, and we help sea-going ships find sailors to man their crews and stuff like that. As we say in the Irish language, we say Tirti Millet, which means have a good day, and we say to you Slalavaya, which means safe home. So all of you have safe travels out there today, no matter where you are in the city. Goodbye, thank you.
Well, I am Miss Lotta Crabtree. You might know me because I'm an actress, but I'm more than an actress. I'm a singer, and I'm, well, a little well-known here and there. Took a while. My mother and I first started doing some entertainments in the camps up at the gold fields. The gold rush was a very interesting time. The gentlemen who went to the camps were not terrible people. They were actually, some of them were quite well-placed people from good families. That's always important. They just wanted to seek their fortune. I was a little girl, and my mother, who has always managed my career and has done a brilliant job, decided that they needed something sweet and kind, something uplifting. And so I would dance in a pretty little skirt. I was very young back then, little red-headed girl with little curls. And they would applaud, and they would give us food, and sometimes we got paid in bags of gold. An actress must go where the stage calls, wherever that stage may be. So I've traveled the world and enjoyed myself, but I think I will always come home to San Francisco. When and if I ever retire, this will be my home. I could never find a better place than San Francisco. It's lovely here. It's so metropolitan, and I've been to the big cities of the world. London, Paris, they have nothing on San Francisco. I think I can picture in my mind a fountain tall but elegant. It needs to be elegant. Kearny Street might be just the place, and Market, where everyone goes at one point or another.
Hello, I'm Leland Stanford, and I am a resident of San Francisco in California. With my friends Huntington, Hopkins, and Crocker, we've established a transcontinental rail line at the wish of Mr. Abraham Lincoln, the president of this country, God rest his soul. My son has recently passed. He was on grand tour in Europe, died in Italy, and we've obviously brought him home. My wife wishes to create some kind of reminder of him here in California. So we are going to establish on the farm, my horse ranch in Palo Alto, a university in his name. And in closing, I'd like to say I am in the process of running for senator from California. So vote for Leland Stanford for senator from California. Thank you.